So, I decided to visit Peace Park and research the history of it, and now it's my job to share it with you. And we're gonna start with my first visit. When I first visited the park, I was surprised by its long, thin shape stretching through downtown Austin and the amount of creative artwork spread throughout the park. It's interesting to see things like Shoal Creek running straight through the park with a road just on the other side. The whole time you're there, you're surrounded by a peaceful line of trees and the bustling energy of downtown Austin. When I first arrived at the park, I honestly didn't know what to look for as I had no prior knowledge at all. I just walked around and took it in. While I didn't get to explore the whole park on my first visit, I knew that it was full with lots of tourist-friendly amenities like many trails for walking, biking, and walking your dog. The park also has a playscape, a splash pad, 2 basketball courts, 3 volleyball courts, and is filled with benches and picnic tables for you to rest at. Throughout my visit, I ended up seeing a lot of these trees that seemed to just be blue, but I didn't know exactly what they were. However, I ended up actually figuring out why they were there in my second visit. I also learned that Pease Park, alongside Silker, is one of the most popular parks in Austin for public and private events. Now, of course, the park isn't the only thing I explored. I also learned all about the history of it, and that's what I'm here to show you today. So let's move on to something a little more educational, a timeline. Governor Elisha M. Pease was born in 1812 and moved to Mexican Texas in 1835, right before the Texas Revolution. He was elected from 1853 to 1857, and after the Civil War, re-elected from 1867 to 1869. He acquired the land that's now Pease Park in 1857 and donated it to the city of Austin with his wife in 1875. From then, it was rarely used between 1875 and 1905, but after that it was recognized as Austin's first public park. However, it was still unused until 1926, when finally the Austin Kiwanis Club added many tourist-friendly amenities and allowed the park to be used for public and private events. By 1961, the park was managed by the City of Austin as well as multiple service organizations like the Junior League of Austin, Austin Metro Trails and Greenways, and Austin's Parks and Recreation and Forestry Departments, as well as hundreds of volunteers from all around Austin. However, in 2007, the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center published a report on Pease Park's little maintenance and upkeep, which led to the start of the Pease Park Conservancy. The Conservancy was meant to maintain the park's ecosystem and help it remain one of the most diverse parks in Austin. Today, there is an annual celebration called Eeyore's Birthday Party, which is meant to take students' minds off of finals as it is celebrated a week prior, and is filled with live music, food and drink, costumes, drum circles, and live animals, including a donkey. In 2014, the Pease Park Master Plan was set in place, which was meant to enhance the environment of the park, which has almost 200 unique animal species living in it. It ended up planting hundreds of trees throughout the park and led to a much better upkeep and maintenance of the environment, as well as making it one of Austin's central parks. Going deeper on Elisha M. Pease, once he moved to Mexican Texas in 1835, he soon became very active in the Texas Revolution and became Secretary of the Provisional Government, which was an emergency government put in place during the war. And after Texas had won its independence, he was named the Controller of Public Accounts in the government of the new Republic of Texas. Later, in 1845, Pease was elected to the Texas House of Representatives and then re-elected in 1847. However, when he ran for Texas Senate in 1849, he lost to John B. Jones and then 4 days later contested the election and won and was sworn in on November 9, 1849. Fast forward to 1851, he first ran for governor but withdrew 2 weeks before the election. However, in the next 2 elections, in 1853 and 1855, he was elected. During the Civil War, Pease sided with the Union, however he did actually own several enslaved people. Records show that 10 enslaved people lived and labored at Pease's plantation in 1860. After the war, he became the leader of the state Republican Party and was appointed as the civilian governor of Texas in 1867 by General Philip H. Sheridan, who was the military leader of the Reconstructing government. During the time Pease was governor, he ended up paying off state debt and laid down the financial foundation that Texas uses to finance its schools and colleges. So, during my second visit, I ended up figuring out why all the trees were actually blue. It's because it's an art project that's meant to display all the trees that would be gone if deforestation continued at the rate that it's still going, which I found interesting because almost all of the trees you see in the park when you're walking are painted, which really puts into perspective the scale of deforestation. So anyways, my final thoughts on the park are that it's a great place if you're looking to just hang out and spend some time outside, or if you're trying to plan an event. Either way, I would recommend going and experiencing what it has to offer.